Welcome to our first long-form video of Cooking with Chucky. As usual, pulling our recipe from the AMPA Ultimate Cookbook, which today is going to be a butternut squash soup. And I know what you're thinking, that is not butternut squash, that is yellow squash, which is correct. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of confusion with my Instacart shopper today. We really hit a double bingo today with the wrong type of squash and also like 7 of them instead of 1. The recipe calls for 1 butternut squash cut in half, but since I have so much yellow squash, I'm going to double it. I don't know anything about cooking squash, so hopefully yellow squash cooks the same as butternut squash. The recipe calls for 35 to 40 minutes on 400 degrees, and we're just gonna go from there. In the meantime, I'm gonna get chopping so that way I have about 4 cups of diced apples, which in this case ended up being about 2 big apples. Also, look how cute my new pig bowls are. Next, we're gonna heat up some oil because we're gonna saute those apples, and we're also gonna add 2 carrots diced up to this mix. And you're just gonna saute that until the carrots and apples are nice and soft. Let's head back to the wrong ingredient for this recipe. I ended up pulling these out about 15 minutes early because I started to think maybe they were overcooked. I don't really know. Can someone please let me know in the comments? When I was cutting them, they definitely seemed tender, and to be honest, it doesn't matter that much because I'm getting ready to throw these in a blender. If this was the correct ingredient of butternut squash, right now you would actually be scooping out the inside and putting that in the blender. All right, now that the blender has scared my cat out of the kitchen and the squash looks like this, a beautiful puree, we are gonna dump this in a bowl and put it to the side. Now we're gonna puree the apples and carrots, and before you blend it, add about a 1/4 cup of water. All right, looks good. The recipe says to put this into a different bowl, but this is going to be a soup where everything is combined, so I just dumped it all together. Lastly, we're gonna dump in 5 cups of water into a pot and bring it to a low boil. We're gonna add in our pureed veggies and repeatedly tell ourselves this does not have the same consistency as dog puke. Go ahead and set your timer for this to simmer for 5 minutes. Just a quick side note that the very visible stains on this tablecloth are my living nightmare, and I'll never use it again. This is a gigantic portion, so I'm shrinking it down into a portion for a 40-pound pig. Whatever's left over will be dumped into this ice tray, frozen, and given to him on multiple occasions. It actually says in the cookbook that this recipe is not just good for dehydration, but it's also good for pigs who are sick or in any form of recovery. Just based on the mess I've made cooking this, I am preparing for an even bigger mess when Chucky goes to eat it. It was a cold, windy day today, so I think the fact that this is warm soup makes Chucky even happier to be eating it. Be sure to subscribe because I'm determined to hit up as many of the recipes in this cookbook as I can.